Good morning. This is Secret Scud coming to you live with the Ace Attorney Retrospective stream, which I know, I'm very late on. Should have been about 2 weeks ago, but things happened. But we're here now, and I'm here with what is it? Here we are, my little Larry, who I will be having to puppeteer live because this is an exceptionally scuffed setup we have here today. I have my audio, like my speech, and the music that I'm going to be trying to use going through the same channel because I couldn't figure out how to do it better in time for this, despite all that extra time I got. And no, in case you're wondering, this is not just a tier list. We're going to be going through the 6 mainline games, including the 3 that I did not play on stream. And we're just going to be looking over it, seeing what was good, seeing what was not, because I want to talk about it, and I did not get to talk about it much whilst we were actually playing them. So let's see if this horrible setup I have actually works. Okay, it does. Wonderful. Now, this first one, the first turnabout, it's good, right? It is very inoffensive, very simple. It introduces Phoenix, introduces Mia, as well as their relationship. You have Butts and the statue, which will be important going forward. And it's really just the most simple tutorial you could possibly have, yeah? I think it's actually one of the better first trials. Well, no, it's not. It's... Okay, so I say that because there's bad first trials, which there shouldn't be, right? They should all be good. But because there are bad ones, this is just a good baseline. So we're just going ahead, stick it right down here in the C tier. And we're not going to dwell much on it, because, like I said, it is, in fact, a first trial. It's not supposed to be mind-blowing or anything, and it does a good job of establishing our characters. Now, this second one, it gets away with revealing Red White as our killer at the start, only because this is the second trial, not just in the game, but in the entire series. And also because Red White is extraordinarily obvious. I mean, as soon as you meet him on, I think, day 2, you know it's him. But, with that being said, even though it does show the killer, which I usually despise, I think this is a pretty good trial. Let's see. So, obviously, Mia's dead, and she sucks. I hate her now. She was fine before, but now she is a Deus Ex Machina, and she will remain as such for the next 2 chapters, which is the entire base game. And I don't like it. It's not good. Mia herself is fine. Whenever she shows up in the flashback in Game 3, she's great. But as a ghost, she's the worst. Also, some other things in this trial. It introduces 3 characters, actually, who are going to be recurring from now on. Miles Edgeworth, our beloved, best prosecutor in the entire series that I've played so far. And he's just the best, right? He has a personal connection to Phoenix. He has a lot of experience. He's able to actually, have a back and forth without resorting to just ad hominem threats or violence, which is not something that I really like in my prosecutors. And he's just overall charming. And not to mention, he has his gags too, as well. Never being able to get his witnesses to say their name. I think that starts in the next chapter, though. The other characters we introduce are Gumshoe. He is fantastic, obviously. His career goes down the drain as a direct result of his work with Wright. But he is an extremely competent guy, especially in this first game, and he is a huge help. And not to mention, he's, charming. And then, of course, Grossberg, not as much as an important character. Actually, I'd say one of the worst recurring characters in the series. Not because he's bad, but just because he doesn't do much. In this chapter, he shows up in order to get blackmailed by Red White, and he refuses to take Maya's case as a result. And he doesn't do much in the future cases to redeem himself, right? He never comes off as especially competent. Even in the flashbacks in the third game, he's still sort of the old pushover who can't really do anything. But not in the same way the Judge is. The Judge has his moments of competency. Marvin Grossberg never gets that. So we're also going to stick this one in the C tier for now, because we're giving it a bit of leniency on account of it being the second trial ever. And even though it, like I said, it's pretty obvious and it does reveal who did it, it is a good trial. Edgeworth really makes it entertaining. Until, you know, Mia steps in with her Deus Ex Machina, because as we will learn in this game, Phoenix does not like reading papers. Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on to this next one. Turnabout Samurai. Now, this is where you'll see in the presentation where I really started to, stop putting so much effort into the presentation I've made here, the slides, because the thing is, well, no, it's not, I'm not going to blame anything. It's just that I did stop putting in as much effort after this. But this is a fantastic trial, okay? Actually, getting back to the conversation, this is amazing from start to finish. Will Powers is a good defendant. Like, obviously he's an offensive defendant, which is a good, because compared to who we had previously, Maya, she's fine, but we don't know her at this point. And Larry, he's fine, but we also don't really know him at this point, other than as a gag character, which is what he is, basically. But Will, he's actually a guy with no relationship to you, and a genuine problem that he has no knowledge of, right? So that's already a good way to start off. And he's the Steel Samurai. But then we have these other characters. Penny Nichols and Cody Hackins, they don't do much. They're just part of the, almost part of the scenery. I mean, they do, I don't think Nichols even takes the stand. But, yeah, no, they're just sort of there. Other things, though. Wendy Oldbag, fantastic recurring character. Wish I could have voiced her. Did not play these games on stream, unfortunately, because I played these games a while ago. Mia, being a ghost in Maya again as a Deus Ex Machina. Don't like her, but at least she does other things whenever she's talking to Cody, as I recall. Sal Manella, once again, shame I didn't get to voice him. Happy he wasn't a recurring character, considering how prevalent the Steel Samurai becomes in the series after this. And then we have these other two. This is where the real interesting part of the trial is. Dee Vasquez and Jack Hammer. So, if you don't know, in this trial, Jack Hammer dresses up as the Steel Samurai after drugging Will in order to kill Vasquez, right? And then Vasquez accidentally kills him in self-defense. And this is really fantastic because it goes into their past. You see here, I've pulled down a little image of Manuel. He is like such an obscure character that probably no one even remembers because he's not a character. He's the backstory. He's the thing that makes Jack Hammer and Dee Vasquez compelling, like, at all, because otherwise it's just a murder with no motivation, which is not good. You know, we don't like when that happens. And I don't recall that happening, but who knows? I haven't looked through this in a while. But the two of them, even though Jack is dead and Vasquez has her persona on for just about the entire trial up until the very end, it's still a very interesting case all around. And also, it gives Gumshoe a time to shine, because if you see these guys behind Vasquez, she does actually just attempt to kill you outright, and Gumshoe saves you. A brilliant display of competency from him, and that's something that I always like to see. I love it whenever the characters are competent and they do their job. And that happens not as much in this next trial, admittedly. But before we get to that, let's just go ahead and put this in a nice B tier, because that is a good trial. We like that one. Now, this is the final trial of the Game Boy Advance version of the game, second to last on the DS version. It's really good. Wait, that's not what I want. Yeah, just keep this going. So, this is a very complex trial. Everyone except for, well, I guess not everyone, but most people in this trial are actually a part of it, not just a witness. Lotta and Larry, they're okay. I mean, continuing to build Larry as a character who can never find love, you know, for future's sake, that's fine. Right now, I don't much care. And also, it's not like he's actually, like, dishonest, really. I think you do have to convince him to talk about the air tank, but I don't think he lies about that. I think he just didn't talk about it because he didn't ask him. And Lotta, she does actually just lie on the stand. She's horrible. I don't like her. Everyone else, though, except for Grossberg, fantastic. And I want to keep talking bad about Grossberg. Grossberg sucks, man. I mean, he does tell you about Hammond, right? Because he knows Hammond. I think he tells you about Gregory a little bit as well. And then he shows up, I think, outside the boat, like the noodle shop, just at some point to give you some random evidence or something. I don't remember. His involvement does not matter at all. I think they just wanted to bring him back because they needed someone to communicate something to you. But yeah, like I said, he does not do anything or redeem himself for his past failures. He just sort of sucks. Now, now actually talking about the trial, this is a doozy. First of all, as you might have seen, Edgeworth himself was on the stand here, which was already a fantastic thing, because they turned the whole thing where they show the killer at the beginning on its head here by showing Edgeworth as the killer at the beginning, which is fantastic. I don't think they really do that much more in the series going forward. And then you also have our new prosecutor, Manfred von Karma. And oh boy, I like von Karma. And when I was thinking about what I would talk about here, von Karma really got me thinking about the other prosecutors. Because in the later games, the ones that we played on stream, we have Black Quill and we have Nayuta Sadmati. And they feel like, how do I say this? Like slightly worse versions of Manfred von Karma? Because here's the thing. Von Karma, he commands the courtroom. He commands the judge directly, and he almost gets away with it, like, multiple times. In fact, I think he did actually get the guilty verdict at one point, before Maya threw herself into the ring. And he doesn't do it in a really condescending, annoying way, like Nayuta did. And he doesn't do it with passive charisma or violence, like Black Quill. He just does it because he's been around, and everyone, and by that everyone I mean the judge and Edgeworth, know him, and they just sort of know what they need to do around him. Like you feel like he's genuinely established a place for himself in the courtroom, which is not something that the other prosecutors do as much. And as for the other characters, this is fantastic. So we have the DL6 incident, and that we love the DL6 incident. Edgeworth's fear of earthquakes, although it's explained here, but also they don't really do a great job of introducing it. As I recall, Edgeworth has a panic attack, goes on the floor, and then you just leave, and then the next time it's mentioned, it's Maya telling Larry about it in a very mean-spirited way. Like, not great, but... And it's also something I've remembered because it's not great. But, putting that aside, Hammond, Yanni Yogi, those two are fantastic. Hammond goes... Like, the point of Hammond is to talk about how it's important to believe in your clients, yeah? Like Mia was telling Phoenix throughout the entire game. Because Hammond didn't believe in his clients, and he ruined Yanni Yogi's life because of it, which resulted in Yanni Yogi killing him. And it's just a really nice story. Additionally, this is our first mention of Misty Faye, who is not important. I just need to get that out there, but that she is here. And also, I will never get over the fact that this trial contains two of the most ridiculous things in the entire series. You bring Polly onto the stand as a witness, and you catch Von Karma using a metal detector. Like, you just pull it out from under your desk. That's crazy. And I love it. This whole trial is just fantastic, and it reminds me of really why I just enjoy this series. Let's change the music real quick. We can put Grossberg's music on, why not? So, this trial is going to go right up into the S tier, because it is fantastic. In fact, I think I'm going to move the Steel Samurai up to the B tier. Or A tier. We might move it back down, but who's to say? Not me. Oh, now here we are, the DLC chapter. This one came out on the DS version of the game, and it's fantastic. Now, just like in the previous chapter, they utilize the fact that they show off the killer at the beginning so frequently to the game's advantage by showing you Bruce Goodman being killed twice, which is a big thing for this whole game, for this whole chapter. How do I say this? So basically, do I just explain the entire chapter? It is a really good one. No, we'll hold back on that. But the point is, they do that. It's great, and then you go into the trial or the investigation, and the whole thing is fantastic. Obviously, we don't have Maya anymore, which means no more Mia, Deus Ex Machina, which I don't actually think happened in the previous trial. But still, it's nice not to have that around. Emma is introduced, and she's okay. She does have one fantastic thing, though, which is that she introduces 3D evidence and fingerprinting, and also luminol. Yeah, all three of those were introduced in this chapter, and that's fantastic. I actually was expecting all three of those to just be a constant thing, not moving forward from this game, but on the DS games. I was rather disappointed that they weren't. They were all just very situational. And they chose to go with the 3D investigating environments, which I'll talk about later, but Emma and the addition she brings, fantastic. Now, Lana is not she's not a cooperative defendant, I'll say that. Which is, she don't have to be cooperative to be good. But because she's so uncooperative, she doesn't get a lot of time to show who she is. Which I feel is actually kind of who she is, now I think about it. But the point is, she's being blackmailed this whole trial by Gant. And she does not talk about it until the very end, whenever you have to cover... Because Emma gets roped into the case. So basically you're covering two murders during this case, and it's not the two Bruce Goodmans. That's one case. You're also covering the murder of Neil Marshall, who was who was supposedly murdered by serial killer Joe Dark, who I actually had to look up Joe Dark on the wiki in order to get his image there, his little thing. And it turns out he was kind of that was an incredibly unlucky and also stupid and also evil man. He just killed, I think he hit someone with a car, and then he just turned around and killed every witness, trying to get away with it. Yeah, pretty terrible. But something... okay, how do I organize my thoughts here? I should have written this down, because this is a very complex trial. Why don't we just go through the characters, right? Okay, Emma, fantastic as an assistant. Love the new mechanic she brings in. I'm attributing this to her, by the way. Love that she turns out to be like a central component of the case, and that she is believed to be the true killer of Neil Marshall for a while. Lana, uncooperative, doesn't show off much of her personality on account of the blackmail, but a very caring person, doesn't ever return, surprisingly enough. I mean, I guess she probably went to prison, maybe. She did lose her seat as chief prosecutor, I think, considering Edgeworth got it shortly after. But other characters, Gumshoe, as always, very nice. Love Gumshoe. Wish he came back in future games more instead of just Emma. Edgeworth, fantastic as always, especially because he was, you know, I think this is the first appearance of Edgeworth's car, which Phoenix always calls really flashy, and it is. But this is, like, I think the first instance of Phoenix showing off his strange sense of aesthetics, like just talking bad about people's stuff. I don't know, but let's see, who else we got? Angel Star. I don't like her. Yep, I do not much care for Angel Star. What does she do? She sort of ruins a lot of the court with her food gag. And the judge, of course, gives into it because she is a young woman. That's a recurring thing with the judge. I didn't talk about it with April May, but yeah, the judge in this game, he sucks. I just get that out of here now that we're at the end of the game. He sucks, and he's going to stay terrible for a while. I don't think there's actually many cases where he is good. I think the only instance in this game where he displays like any good traits is with Von Karma. He shuts him down once or twice. But yeah, Angel Star, not great. She's the one who took the picture there on the right. And, I mean, yeah, I know, she's involved. But the fact that she has her persona of lunch lady on the whole time, I really don't like it. I would have liked it if she was more, like, if she dropped it quicker and got to her serious side. Now, Jake Marshall, similar complaint, kind of. Because he keeps the cowboy. Because the thing is, with him, being a cowboy isn't really so much a persona that he puts on. That's his actual thing. Like, he's actually just a cowboy and also stupid with technology. And he is a much better character. You know, I have his music here somewhere. Where is it? There it is. Hey, don't play music. Yeah, there we go. Jake Marshall is a lot better, okay? Like I said, his persona he puts on is his actual personality. He has this great music. He has a much more direct tie to the case because his brother was killed. He's just overall a pretty good, pretty interesting guy. Goodman, we unfortunately don't get any information on. This is something that happens a lot in the series, where we just don't know anything about the victim, and it's never talked about. Who are the victims up to this point? Yeah, Cindy Stone, don't know anything about her. Well, we know a little bit, but it's nothing important. Mia, we barely knew her. And Jack, admittedly, he was an interesting one. And then Gregory and Robert, to be fair, we don't need to know much about Gregory to know he's important. And we do actually know a bit. Oh, you know what? So I guess this first game did actually talk about the victims a bit. It's just this one trial. But yeah, we don't know much about him. The whole thing with him being killed in two places at the same time is very good, interesting though. And that brings in Mike Meekins. Oh boy. Mike Meekins. How many of you have heard this little tune? This is the Blue Badger theme. It plays in the recording, like the security camera footage for this trial, and it's you hear it a lot, so much. It just plays and plays and plays as you watch the same video of Mike Meekins getting shanked by Bruce Goodman, and then Bruce Goodman escaping behind the Blue Badger stand over and over and over for what feels like forever. This is one mechanic I'm glad they did not bring back that many times. I think the only other time you had to analyze an actual video and not just a series of still images is in, what was it? The Shrusi and Grammary Land case from the final game. But the point is, this music, it's I'm never gonna forget it. Well, that's for sure. Yeah. But you know, we did get one more thing in this case that I want to talk about. Damon Gant, or Damon Gant. I'm not sure how we pronounce it here. I've heard it pronounced both ways, both just like referring to this character and also referring to the real life name. But we're gonna go with Damon because it fits the pun better. He is a fantastic villain. We love Damon Gant because he is genuinely evil. Like, he chose to be evil. He did not just go with circumstances. And he's very smart. I think he only makes one serious slip-up. And his whole demeanor is perfect. It's friendly and intimidating at the same time. We love it. And in case you're wondering what I mean by he's actually evil, is, so obviously he's the villain. Like, as the villain, he's the killer. Not of Bruce Goodman, but of Marshall. He did, oh, right, that's right. Lana killed Goodman. I forgot about that. Yeah, so that's why she went to jail. But yeah, Gant killed Marshall. He did not have to do that. He walked into a room with a, like, 5-year-old child, his coworker, and a serial killer unconscious on the ground, and he chose to kill his coworker and pin it on the child. That's horrible, and I love it. Damon Gant, one of the best killers in the entire series, I think, which is why this trial is going to go right up into the S tier along with the previous one. And with that, that's the end of the first game. And I mean, you can just tell from this game is going right up into the S tier. I think it's pretty darn good. Actually, we'll put it in the A tier for now. We can move it up later if we feel the need to. But let's move on to the next game. Which one was the next game? Justice for All. That's right. That's right. Oh, this is a horrid first chapter. Oh, this is such a bad first chapter. Hold on, turn off Damon Gant's theme. We don't want that here. Oh man. You know what? Let's just put Emma's theme on, I guess. No, we can just go back to the basic court or cross-examination. No, this one. Yeah. So this is a horrid chapter. I don't like it. Remember when I said there was bad first chapters? This is what I'm talking about. I mean, it's excusable. I'll give it that, but it's not a good chapter. It introduces Maggie Bird, who is, in fact, a recurring character. Not a good one, but a recurring character nonetheless. Winston Payne's back, and he is a, he's as Winston Payne as he can be, I guess. I don't really have many words to describe Winston Payne. He is crafted to be the inoffensive tutorial lawyer, and he is that. I mean, he has the gag with the hair, obviously, but that hasn't kicked into full force yet, I don't think. I mean, this is only his second appearance. But my god, is this a bad chapter. And you know why? It's because of that fire extinguisher. Oh, man. So, how do I say it? So, basically, Larry, get in here. So, Phoenix this is the amnesia chapter, right? There's going to be an amnesia storyline in a series this long. It has to happen at some point. And this is how they spend it. They spend it on a tutorial chapter with a character who, like, with a killer who is obviously the bad guy because he's the only person in the case other than Bird and Gumshoe. And it's not good. I get that I mean, if you started with the second game for some reason, yeah, it's fine. But considering everything we had on the later trials, like first trials, this is not a good one. So we're gonna put it in the D tier. It does not deserve to go higher. And I have a feeling, from what I can remember, that this second game, it is not going to be especially high ranked across the board, because I don't remember the trials that are being that good. Okay, now the second one's a bit better. This is actually a complicated second trial, and they don't tell you who did it outright at the beginning, from what I remember. Actually, no, they don't. Now, it is kind of obvious who the bad guy is. Morgan just gives off evil energy. But all in all, it's a solid trial. Well, I don't even remember what Lotta Hart was doing here. I know that she's in it because I put her in this slide. But I don't know, what was she doing? Oh, right, she was just part of the really convoluted plot. So, why don't we talk about Franziska first, right? Franziska and Pearl, because these are our two important characters here who are going to be recurring. Franziska is our new prosecutor, and she is not great. She does not have the commanding presence of her father. She does not have the wit of Edgeworth. But you know what she does have? She has a whip. A whip. Larry, you can take a seat now. But yes, that's kind of her thing, at least in this chapter. It's not a great first impression. She's just violent and rude. And although and like she doesn't even have much of a motivation, really, because she's not here to avenge her father. She explicitly states it, I believe. I think she's here to avenge Edgeworth, who Phoenix Wright is currently pretending is dead for literally no reason other than the fact that he's overdramatic at this age. So yeah, Franziska, not a great first impression. I believe she's improved a bit after this. We'll see. Maya is on the stand again. This time, it's a much more complicated plot. Before we get to that, Pearl, like I said, Pearl is Maya's younger cousin. Pearl channels Mia, and that's kind of weird, but it's fine. Pearl has a lot of lost potential. Okay, how do I explain this? I have a notepad, actually. Yes, here we are. So Pearl's whole thing throughout the original trilogy is that she gets manipulated by her mother, Morgan. Morgan wants to take control of the Kurain clan by getting rid of Maya, who is, next in line. Or not next in line, but the heir, and installing Pearl as a puppet, who is next in line. And that's really interesting, right? That's why Morgan comes back as a villain later on. But Pearl's reaction, not so much. Not so much at all. So you could have something really interesting here with like the whole like relationship here. Because the thing is, Pearl, even after knowing Morgan is a terrible person, even after Morgan is arrested, she still goes along with what Morgan wants her to because she loves her mother. And they don't resolve that. I recall at one point a viewer, I believe Crown of Pencils was their name, according to my note, suggested a fanfiction about Pearl after the third game, after she has been manipulated yet again by Morgan, that sort of resolves their plot. And I really like that because it shows how Pearl has potential to be very interesting. It shows how she could have had more depth in this original trilogy and how she could have come back a stronger character in the next trilogy, and they didn't. So Pearl just sort of becomes almost a mascot character, really. A vessel for Mia to appear. Although, admittedly, in this chapter, Mia does actually serve an important role. They have a nice moment near the end where Pearl is made to channel Mia by Phoenix, so that Pearl does not have to see Phoenix accusing Morgan. I think that's quite nice. Now, as for this actual big plot, I think it's a pretty interesting one. Something to note is that Eenie Meenie and Mimi Miny, or Eenie Miny and Mimi Miny swap bodies. Or not swap bodies, but like they swap places, right? And I don't remember the exact details. I have it written down. I'm not going to read it. But it did create some confusion for me, not just in the trial, but later on, because it sort of muddled my conception of spirit channeling going into the later games where that was more important. And the final thing I want to note here is the urn. I'm actually covering it a bit in the bottom right. But this is the first instance of the urn of Ami Faye. Now, Ami Faye, not an important character. Had a potential to be important in the last game. They did not pursue that route. Don't blame them. They had a lot going on. But the urn is another way I think Pearl's interesting, because Pearl smashes the urn, she fixes it herself, and then later it's revealed that Maya, when she was younger, smashed the urn and Mia fixed it. And I feel like that's something that could have been explored a lot more, showing how Maya always had Mia there to help her, but Pearl doesn't really. And obviously Pearl does have Maya and Phoenix once this trial ends, or while it's happening as well. But showing that up until then she didn't have anyone could have been a good talking point. Yeah, so I know I sound disappointed, and believe me, I am. But the simple fact that this trial is constructed so well, and it got me talking about this so much, I think that's worth it. But I think that's good enough, right? Good enough to rank it high. Especially because I'm not even discussing with Pearl. I'm not even discussing just this chapter. I'm just discussing Pearl in general. So it's not going to drag down the whole chapter much. So we'll go ahead and put this one in B tier. I think it's a pretty darn good chapter. I'm going to have this issue with all of them, aren't I? Yeah. Okay, there we go. B tier, chapter 2-2. Oh. Okay. Here we are. So, I only have a bit of... Okay, how do I want to say this? This one, this is a bad trial. We're putting the Blue Badger song on for this, because of how bad this one is. In fact, we're going to preemptively rank this one. There we are. I think I had something beneath here. Hold on. Where was it? I had something set off to the side. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. The clown trial. This is what we want. No? Okay. I'm having issues manipulating my own slides. This is terrible. There we go. That's what we wanted. The clown trial tier, because this trial is the circus one. And it's not good. It is not good. Yep, go ahead. Go right down there. And now it's time to talk about why it's not good. So, I do need to say, when I was playing this trial, I did not think it was going to be that bad. I mentioned this before, actually, but it was. It was bad. The reason I had thought it would be good was because I had a working theory as I was going through it that posed a much more interesting a much more interesting story. So and I want to explain that. So why don't we actually talk about what happened first, right? So we have our defendant, Billy Bob Johns, also known as Maximilian Galactica. We'll just be calling him Max. He is not he's not an interesting character, right, at all. Right off the bat, pretty bad. His whole thing is that he's a stage magician who is actually just a guy from the country. He has nothing interesting to contribute to this entire chapter. Now, the other characters, they have a little bit more going for them, right? Mo, the clown, he's just sort of sad. His wife left him, and so he turns to making jokes to cope with the pain. Because of this, he sucks. Because his jokes, on top of being not funny, actually make you take damage during the trial if you press him and he makes a joke. At least for a little bit. Oh, and then... man. The rest of these guys... I don't even know if I want to talk about these. They're really bad, okay? Okay. So, Russell Berry, he's the ringmaster, okay? We had to start with him if we're going to explain everyone's character and why they're horrible. Russell's daughter is Regina, and she's like 15 or 14, okay? Very young, definitely not legal. Everyone in this circus, except for Mo and Acro, are for some reason in love with her. Benjamin, Bat, and Max are all trying to get with her. Now, I don't remember how young or old Bat is, but the other two are definitely adults. So it's a bit of a weird situation. Now, okay, so, oh man, I'm going to keep talking about it. I have to. Because I want to explain why I thought it would be good. So, first of all, Ben is terrible. We don't like him. He always has Trillo, the ventriloquist puppet, on his hand, who is extraordinarily rude, and probably Ben's actual thoughts, because Ben sort of plays this very nervous sort of character. And he's just overall not pleasant. Especially considering he was involved in an assault case right before the murder occurred. I don't remember if he was the one attacking... I don't remember if he attacked Max or if Max attacked him, but something did happen in the cafeteria. Now, Bat, he's not actually... We don't know much about him, because he is in the hospital. He was put in a coma after being bitten by Leon, who was then put down by Russell. And that's the whole motivation for Acro, by the way. Acro wants to get revenge on Regina, because Regina is the one who indirectly caused the attack to occur. She covered Bat's scarf in pepper to make him sneeze, but whenever Bat was doing the trick where he puts his head in the lion's mouth, it made the lion sneeze instead. It didn't end well for anyone. But Regina does not much care about that, because Russell has kept her very naive and unknowing about worldly matters like death on purpose, which made Acro even more mad because he did not understand that. And even if he did understand that, it's still something that he has all the right to be mad about. So overall, this is a horrible situation with horrible people. And Franziska makes it even worse, because you know why? You want to know why Max here was accused of murder? Because his whole thing is that he can fly, right? That on stage, he flies using a wire. Anyone with a brain can tell that he's using a wire, even if you can't see it. But the witness, Mo the Clown, said he saw Russell get murdered, and then the killer flew away. Yeah, not great. Not great at all. But I guess that's the best thing that the police had to go off of, because Franziska then had Max arrested on account of the fact that he can fly. It's just all around terrible. I don't like this chapter. But here's what I thought. As I was putting things together, going through the chapter, I thought, hey, is Regina doing this all on purpose? Because she's clearly... So her existence is tearing apart the circus, right? Benjamin, and Max are fighting over her. Mo doesn't really matter. And Russell had just been killed by Acro, and Bat is in the hospital. Obviously, the circus is doomed. But before I found out Regina's whole thing about being, about not knowing about how death works, I thought that she had killed or gotten Bat into a coma on purpose. And I thought they were going to, develop a really devious, evil storyline where Regina's a criminal mastermind or something, sort of like how Morgan was. But no, it's just bad. Which is why this child goes in the clown tier. You know what, Larry? I probably should have had you out this whole time. Can we get Larry back out? Just for a little bit. Thank you, Larry. And you know what, does Larry have... Do we have any better Larry reactions? Yeah, there we go. That's how Larry... There we go. Yeah, it's not good. It's really bad. And this is probably the trial I spent the most time talking about. So, let's move on. Larry, I know you were only here for a little bit, but I'm going to have to ask you to go now. Until the next bad chapter, that is. Stop the Blue Badger song. I don't want to hear it anymore. What's next? Oh, yes. Farewell, my turnabout. The return of the Steel Samurai. As well as the copper... No, not the copper. The nickel samurai and the Jammin ninja, I believe. Yes, this is a really good chapter. Now, it is completely separate from everything leading up to this point, right? It didn't tie in Morgan to it, which was very surprising. But that does not mean it's a bad chapter. It's actually a very, very good chapter. And hold on. I don't actually want to listen to Steel Samurai on loop during this. Let's do this. There we go. So, what's happening here, right? First of all, we have Miles Edgeworth back, and we love that. Was Miles Edgeworth the prosecution from the very beginning? I think he was, actually. So, yeah, that's obvious. That's immediately a plus. Lotta Hart is back. She does not matter much. I think she lies again to make things more interesting. Wendy Oldback is back. She's great. She doesn't lie. She just withholds information because her new actor crush is Juan, who is dead again. Adrian Andrews. This is her first appearance, and she's an interesting character. We'll get to her in a second. Will Powers comes back. Not especially important, but, you know, having Will around is nice. And then everything else, except for Dr. Hottie and Franziska and Gumshoe. That's where the interesting part of this chapter is. So, this is the only chapter in the entire series, to my knowledge, where your goal is to get your defendant declared guilty. Now, it doesn't start that way. Initially, you're defending Matt Ungard for the supposed murder of, or not supposed, but for the murder of Juan Carita. But you do not choose this. You don't have any personal connection to the guy. Mai doesn't have any personal connection to the guy. Really, you don't even know why you're doing this. Or rather, you wouldn't if it weren't for the fact that Maya gets kidnapped. Not arrested this time, but kidnapped. By good old Shelly the Killer, disguised as a bellboy. And that is a fantastic name, let me tell you. I thought he was just trolling whenever he did the initial phone call and said, "My name? Oh, my name is the Killer." That was, he got a good laugh out of me. It really did. But really, this whole chapter was great. So Matt Ongard, Juan Carita, they hate each other's guts, right? And they both do horrible things. They're both horrible people. And Adrian Andrews and Celeste Impax got caught in the middle of all this, right? Which resulted in Impax killing herself and Adrian Andrews just becoming horribly depressed, also suicidal, but she lived. So immediately, all of the characters introduced here are extraordinarily interesting. All of them have motivations, that make sense, even if On Guard's motivation is just having hatred for Carita and being genuinely evil. I don't have a sprite for it, but like on guard, well, you get to the end of the chapter or the end of the like second day of the trial, and you find out he is actually just evil because he whips up his hair and he's like the scar on his eye and he has an oversized wine glass and everything. He's fantastic. We love him. And Shelly the Killer, fantastic as well. Obviously, he kidnapped Maya, but he is like the reason you win. Not because he gives you information, but because he adheres to his rules. He has class, right? And whenever you find, oh, how do I say this? Okay, so maybe I should explain from the beginning. Yeah, so Karita is killed, On Guard is arrested, Maya gets kidnapped, and Shelly the Killer calls you, Phoenix Wright, saying, get On Guard acquitted or Maya dies. Right? So your goal is to get On Guard acquitted no matter what. And as the investigation progresses, Gumshoe and Franziska, I believe, are working to go rescue Maya so that you can actually do what you need to. Get to the truth of the situation. Because you don't know if On Guard is actually innocent. You presume he is, because of the way he acts. But it's actually all a front, as he reveals. And even after you figure that out, you still want to do the right thing, which is getting him guilty. But you can't. Until, of course, you prove to Shelly the Killer that On Guard recorded him, causing On Guard to, give up and Shelly the Killer to break his contract. All in all, it is a fantastic trial in a not-so-fantastic game. Even though it doesn't connect to anything, it's still really good. So let's go up to the top. Let's see here. 2-4. Man. This one's going to go right up into the A tier, I'd say. Oh, okay, this one's not behind everything. And let's take this moment to reorganize this. I think 1-3 is not... Yeah, 1-3 can go right down to the B tier. 2-4 goes ahead of it. And actually, you know what? If we're going to put 2-4 in A tier, we can put 1-4 down here as well. That's a lot better. Perfect. Now, with that being said, the second game, Justice for All, that's going to go into B. Overall, it's not that great. It ends fantastic. It has Morgan's trial, which is fantastic. But, clown trial. Also, beginning trial is not great. I can see why people consistently rank this in the lower of the games. But let's see, what do we have next? Oh, Turnabout Memories. I love Turnabout Memories. This one is the best first trial in the original trilogy. Not in the whole series, but it's pretty darn close. I'd say it's the second or third, maybe third. We'll see. I'd say for now, second best in the entire series. Because this is a flashback trial. We introduce young Mia Fey and young Marvin Grossberg, who does nothing but talk about his hemorrhoids. We have a young Winston Payne, who really fully embraces his balding gag, because this is where he loses his hair, I believe. We have a young Phoenix Wright, which is nice because Wright at this point in the story is starting to mature, so having really young version of him for even a moment is pretty cool. Doug Swallow, not much going on there. He's dead. Don't talk about the victims. Actually, that was something that started in the previous game. We don't talk too much about the victims. Dustin Prince, Turner Gray, Russell Berry, all very much nothing. They have the minimum amount talked about. They have a minimum amount of talking, but overall, they're nothing too interesting. Same here with good old Russell. And let's see, what do we want? No. Here we go. Yeah, so Doug is nothing, but Dahlia. Dahlia is good. And the thing is, she gets better. She is a recurring character. And we love that. Now, this is a trial where she gets convicted, I believe, after pretending to be Wright's girlfriend in order to retrieve poison from him that he did not know that he had. And I'm not gonna like explain these cases from start to finish, even though I most certainly could. I do have notes written to do that. But the point is, we introduced young Mia, we introduced young Dahlia, we get to see young Phoenix, and it also, most importantly, it sets up the future chapters where these characters become more important. So we're going to go ahead and stick this 3-1. It's going to go right into the B tier, actually. Best first trial so far. Let's just scoot these guys up a bit. There we go. Now, what do we have next? Oh, Stolen Turnabout. So we're bringing back the urn. Now, this is a real case of we know nothing about the victim, Kane Bullard. I mean, we do know a bit. He actually does play into the story a little bit, but like as far as personality goes, the only thing we know is that he's evil, right? But everything else is good. We introduce Gatto, our new prosecutor, and he's really, really, really good. Okay, I can't put him above Edworth because my heart won't allow it. But Gatto is really good. He also has very good music that I unfortunately did not prepare because I only have music from the first game. But we can put Damon Gant's music on. It's pretty similar. Not similar, but like similar in quality. Oh yeah, Gatto is just great. Oh, hello there. First 5 years. I don't believe you've been here before. I'm just going through all the Phoenix Wright games, talking about them right now. Because I didn't get to talk about them while I was actually playing them. Oh, Ace Attorney related favor? Go right ahead. What do you need? There is a bit of latency, by the way. So it'll take a bit for me to, catch up. Or for you to catch up to me. Ugh. Oh, I forgot my water. Oh, well, I suppose while I wait for the latency, which there's quite a lot of, I can just keep talking. So, yeah, like I said, Gatto, fantastic. We love him. He only gets better. Okay, hold on. The request has come through. Okay, hold on. Did you just... Oh, are you a bot? Huh. Well, I didn't expect that. Dang. Look at that. Huh. No, I am real. I don't exactly trust that because I have heard people say that. Okay, so you say, can I rate it? And I am real. I'm having trouble accepting that because I've had bots say, no, I am real. And also, most importantly, because the thing you're asking me to rate, you censored it. Or you didn't censor it, but you said asterisks, which makes me think this is a fill-in-the-blank sort of bot. You just took my, how to say. So if you actually have something, you can actually try and say it. Okay, you know what? We can, well, okay. Well, I can ask you a question, but more importantly than that, you actually need to, say what you're trying to get me to do, because, like I said, you asterisked yourself, it looked like. But it's really the question, how many times was the Ami Faye urn broken, I guess? This is a bit of an interesting way for this to go. I didn't expect this to happen. I know you want me to rate a video, but whenever you attempted to tell me what you made it with, you put asterisks in your message in place of the product. Which is what I'm suspecting. Okay, well, you did answer the question correctly. So you are a real person. Still got to fix the asterisks though, because I'm willing to help you out. I know how it is to be a student who needs help. Ah, objection that lol. Yep, I know it. I know it. Yep. Yeah. Okay. I know. I know. Objection that lol. So you mean to rate the website or? Oh, you're. I got it. I got it. That's why. That's why it was happening. You're posting hyperlinks which get auto blocked. That would be it. Well, that is unfortunate because I would have to go in Streamlabs, I believe, to undo that. Let's see here. How exactly am I going to get this from you? I do want to help you. So. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see if I can get a way for you to say that to me. In the meantime, I'm going to put the music back on. Not Damon Gant theme. No. There we go. So, how do I get you to... I don't want to enable hyperlinks. You know, you can just DM it to me. I think that'll work. At least I think it'll work. Yeah? Assuming you're still there, of course. I don't know. There's a lot of latency, like I said. Well, we can get back into this while I wait for you to, you know, get to that. But yeah, so this case... Oh, I got really distracted. Where was I? I think I was just starting to gush over Gato, but we don't want to do that yet. We want to wait until we actually get to see his time to shine. How about I whisper you? Yeah, you know what? I can do that. Ah, my computer. Ah, you have whisper. Well, I would whisper you, but you have whispers disabled in your settings from strangers. So you need to change that. Now, going back to this case, because I am still trying to talk about this, we have this very interesting situation set up where Luke at me, a pun that I actually got pretty quickly, that one. I'm not usually quick on those. He's trying to this whole case is like a mess. But it's a good mess. Basically, Ron is insecure about himself and he thinks his wife only wants him for the money. Okay, so when he loses his job, he turns to crime, gets caught by Luke at me, who blackmails him to steal more for him, who then gets caught by Kane Bullard, who then blackmails Luke at me to blackmail Ron Delight. Now try it. I gotcha. Oh, hello. Thank you for the 50%. Yes. There you go, bud. Now, let's see. Yeah, so big string of... How to say? Big string of blackmail. And the thing is, it was completely unnecessary because Desiree Delight actually does like Ron, which I think is a great way to go with the character instead of having, like, everyone be evil. Do I have my desktop audio turned on? Good, I don't. Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? I'm taking a look at your thing right now. Hold on, I need the music off. It's distracting me. That is a scene previewer. Ah, okay, okay. The first one you sent me is the wrong one. What do we got in here? It's going to take a bit to load. And you must forgive me, I'm not showing it on stream because on the off chance that it's something that I, not allowed to show, don't want to take that risk. Impression? Yeah, I can do that. I mean, I did that with the entire games, but I had to make sure that it's, something I'm actually allowed to talk about here. Internet safety is very important after all. It also takes a long time to load, dang. Okay, that's your product, got it. Okay, you know what, I think you can do this. I don't need to watch the whole thing. We can do it right now if you want. Some bit of free advertising. Never bad to have. Gotta get OBS to cooperate with me though, because OBS, it does not like whenever I try to show people the internet. So let's see, we gotta make this a separate window. Here we are. Oh, I don't even know if this is actually gonna make noise because I'm not wearing my correct headphones right now. But you know what? This is fine. This is called the stream is called "Seek You the Scuffed" for a reason. Hey, yeah. Here we are. Window capture. And we want that. There we go. And we're gonna go ahead and crop that. Oh, you guys can probably see me cropping it as I'm going through this, can't you? That's a bit embarrassing. Ooh, yeah. I would say so. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. Okay, there we go, there we go. That should work now. Not a perfect cropping job, but we don't need a perfect one. Now, let's see here. What do we got? Let's see if I can remember how to use voices when my throat is not sore. Court is now in session for the trial of Prime Flicks. The defendant is ready, Your Honor. I never voiced Gatto on stream. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Okay. Immediately, I will say, if you're trying to imitate the characters, these first few lines are pretty standardized, so adhering more to those would be good. I've already started ad-libbing them into the more standard speech patterns. Please give your opening statement, prosecution. Oh. Prime Flicks should be a consumer's first choice when it comes to streaming. To support my argument, I call the CEO of Prime Flicks to the witness counsel. Oh, okay. You gave them your own pun names. I absolutely would not have gotten that if you did not tell me. And I must say, I'm not familiar with the exact formatting of the site, but if it's possible to either change their idle animation or remove it entirely, that could be nice to add to the flow. And also, I don't know, is English your first language? Because the witness counsel is a bit of a weird thing to say instead of witness stand. It gives me the feeling that you put him through a translator. Not a good translator though, like a Google translator. Oh, dang. Oh, well, I haven't even talked about him on stream yet. Oh, what voice did I even give to him? Crescent, right. Uh, God, oh, you're for just a fast typer? Got it. Yeah, this guy is an interesting one because distinctly remember I had an extraordinarily sore throat when I was voicing him. I think I just had to give him a new voice. Hello, it is I, the CEO of PrimeFlix, the one and only Nate Flix. Felix. Tell me, Mr. Felix. Oh, wait. This is a strange sentence. Tell Mr. Felix the court. Mr. Felix, please tell the court why PrimeFlix is reliable. Heh. Oh wait, you know what? I can actually get my other headphones so I can check if there's audio here. Yep, we got the pun name this time. Okay. We'll have to see if there's audio now that I have my good headphones out. Well, Your Honor, PrimeFlix is Oh, it does have audio. Good, good. Your Honor, PrimeFlix is anything but affordable, since it charges extra for the sharing of accounts. Why would people go for such service when Filmera doesn't charge extra? Objection. But the content it offers is truly vast for the prices it charges. The content of PrimeFlix is severely limited, offering media from the last decade, but Filmera offers a media from the last century. Ah! Heh. Oh? Sure, kid. You can mention PrimeFlix's defects, but it's known for its original content that rakes in millions, something Filmera could never pull off. The court hasn't heard of the feature of Filmera. Whoa, Eureka, dang, I think that was from the investigation games. I haven't played this one yet. That will guarantee maximum satisfaction. Your Honor, read one of the contracts of Filmera. Bleh. Slip of the tongue. The contract approves Filmera to... Huh? Revive canceled shows? That's right. With Filmera, you can enjoy your favorite shows like never before. If they match the original's charm, it'll be a hit with fans old and new. And prove that classic stories can thrive again on Filmera. PrimeFlix, you're incomparable and a fraud. People will choose Filmera for its unlimited content. Mainstream or not, you are done for. Don't worry, PrimeFlix is still the best, despite what anyone says. We've got all those amazing remakes of old shows. Remember when we brought back that classic? Sure, we made a few tweaks here and there, but what's a little change, huh? Oh, and don't forget how we cancel shows left and right to make room for new ones. Who needs consistency anyway? Hey, system, show me PrimeFlix sales. Sales are declining rapidly. Huh? No! To conclude, get Filmera for a chance to experience the past, present, and future so you can relax and rewind. Okay. And then it doesn't fade out until the music fades out, I assume? Either that or just stays here? Okay, I do have a few things to say about this. Okay, it's not going to fade out. So I'm just going to exit out of it now. So, let's see. First of all, thank you for the compliment. It's been a lot easier for me to do that ever since I stopped being so sick. But a few things. First of all, that's the tagline, gotcha. But let's see. First of all, you just need to go through, edit it, get rid of your typos and your odd grammar. Having Edgeworth on the side of the prosecution for only half of it is a bit odd, I will say. Especially if you're going to include him. But overall, I do think it was pretty good. Initially I was worried that you're actually... No. I should throw that thought away, because my tongue is completely falling apart. But the point is, it was good. I would say it is a very clear work in progress. And as a work in progress, I would rate it as a probably a 7 out of 10. But as a completed product, it's obviously much lower. Either, I'd say more of a 5. But, you know, just go through, edit it. Yeah, no, that's really the only thing you really need to do. Just a bit of proofreading. I think with the pun names... Oh man, my screen is completely broken. Sorry about that. With the pun names, it's nice to have some more obscure pun names, don't get me wrong. But making some that flow better would be nice as well, if you can think of some. Unless, of course, you are speaking with an audience that is more familiar with those terms. But yeah, overall, pretty good. There's, like I said, a lot of latency, so you probably aren't going to hear this for another 30 seconds. So until then, I'm going to just go back to talking about this trial. And oh my god, the latency is so bad. Oh my god. The screen's not even fixed. Why is the screen not fixed? Oh, there it is. Oh, that's not 30 seconds of latency. That's like a whole minute of latency. God. Okay, well, I need my other headphones on so I can hear what music I'm about to put on. But yes, very good. Very good. I like your little thing. And if you need more specific criticisms or ratings for your project, I would be glad to give them to you. Now, let's see. Yeah, I talked about how this is a big string of blackmails. Talked about Gato very briefly being good. Talked about Desiree being good. Talked about Luke being good. The other thing I want to talk about in this trial is that not Pearl. Pearl's actually pretty boring during this, but Ron, he is fantastic. We love Ron because he knows when to shut up. And I'm not saying that in a mean-spirited way. I'm saying like he knows when being quiet is his best bet. He does not speak up about the whole what was it? He doesn't speak up about the double jeopardy until the verdict is already called. And even though... And he also very openly starts claiming that he is Mask to Mask right off the bat. Something that he knows he should do because it will save him. Something that he knows he will do because it will screw over Luke at me. And in the end, it works. He is a very great character. And I believe he's actually one of the few characters, not few characters, but this is actually one of the chapters that got adapted in the anime, I believe. If I'm remembering right. I could be remembering wrong, but the point is, overall, even though I don't have much to say about it because it's rather straightforward, it's a great, great chapter, right? So let's see. Which one was this? 3-2? 3-2? Where's 1-2? Not 1-2, 3-1. Yeah, 3-1 goes in B tier. I'm going to put this one in B tier as well. It can go right at the top, actually. It's better than the Samurai chapter, that's for sure. Now, what was next? I don't remember what the third chapter is. Third chapters always seem to have that effect on me. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh. This is horrid. This is horrid. This chapter. Ugh. Gross. It's not a clown chapter. I'll give them that. But with Victor's red nose there, they're getting pretty close. So, as I said earlier, Maggie Bird is a recurring character. She comes back, and it's not that great. This is what I mean. This is where she comes back, and it's not that great. She has been accused of crime again. And what is this? What is this? Okay. It's not good. That's what it is. How do I explain it, though? So... Oh, man. First of all, I suppose I should just put Tigray down here at the bottom, because he's the killer. I don't know why he wasn't there before. But these other characters, not good. No. We have... Okay, where do I even start with this? Oh, man. Victor's not good. We'll start with there. Victor is terrible. We hate Victor. He exists to cause problems and to creep on younger women. And we don't like that. We don't like either of those things. And he's not helpful at all. And to be fair, he was created to be a false witness by Tigray. But even then, he sucks. Lisa Basil, completely irrelevant. All she does is give you the slightest bit of information on Glenn Elg. That is that he is a gambler and he was in debt. Glenn Elg, not very important or significant. He's a gambler and in debt. And he also made a computer virus, which is like the main thing that Tigray is trying to get. Maggie Bird and John Armstrong, also not especially important. In fact, I hate Armstrong. I know there's an achievement for getting all of his dialogue. I could never. He's not good. I don't like him. Everything about him is pretty bad. He has a shop. It's not a good shop in universe. He has beauty products, I think, that are not good in universe. He has this whole, like, pink muscle man thing going, which is, I mean, if that's what he wants, that's fine, but he doesn't do it well. The point is, no one likes him, and he kind of sucks. The only interesting part of this trial is Tigray and Viola's relationship, which I don't think anything really comes out of at the end. I think Tigray just gets exposed and Viola moves on, or just, she didn't move on, but she was already acting depressed to begin with, so nothing really changes. This is the odd chapter in this game. It's just not great. I will say, though, it is funny to imagine Tigray going through the entire, entire legal system with a cardboard badge and not getting caught. That is, admittedly, fantastic. It's a shame we don't get to see it. Would have been very nice. But it's not good. It's not a good chapter. At the very least, it does not tell you who did the killing, but also it's extraordinarily obvious because the guy has red skin. So 3-3. Sorry, but you're going right down to the D tier. Well, I put both the Maggie Bird chapters down there. What a coincidence. But don't worry, because we're about to get into the really good ones. Turnabout Beginnings. This is something that we really like. We have young Gumshoe here, who, fun fact, the reason he only changes it, he has a cleaner coat, is because they didn't have enough space in the game to have an actual younger sprite for him. That's actually something you'll note in the next chapter. There's a very short character, and the reason she's short is because they didn't have enough space to make her tall. They were really pushing the limits of the GBA cartridges when they made this game. And I should know that Mia also has a new sprite in these chapters, but she does not. She does not, but I do not have them here because I just don't have them. But as far as this case goes, it's really good. We get Diego Armando, who you can tell from a glance is Giscado, so he's fantastic. We have young Mia, who is fantastic. We have young Miles Edgeworth, who is fantastic. Like, even just like showing that he physically resembles Lon Karma in his choice of outfit is already a tiny but very significant bit of storytelling that I love. Dahlia posing as Melissa Foster is fantastic. Valia Hawthorne, although she is admittedly not expanded upon, she at least is like an interesting interesting victim because of her relation with Terry Falls. They're not in a relationship together, but she like knows him. And Terry, this man kills himself on the stand. Yeah, there we go. Sad music. And you know what? It's been a while. Let's get Larry in here. Do I have a Larry face for this? I do have a Larry face for this. Perfect. Thank you, Larry. Yes, Terry Falls kills himself on the stand because this trial occurs before the other flashback trial. And it's the reason why Mia is so, like, why she takes such a long break when she's upset. Overall, this is a fantastic trial. It's a short one, don't get me wrong, but it's a perfect way to connect the first trial to the last trial. And it's a good transition as well. So 3-4, it's going to go right up here in the B tier, I'd say. In fact, let's put in the A tier, just because yeah, there we go. I say it's pretty good, especially because we don't have Grossberg talking about his hemorrhoids the whole time. And you know what, we can, while we're here, just preemptively put 3-5 up in the A tier. 3-5 can be the top A tier, why not? We'll have to scoot everything over quite a bit. Oh, actually, do we put it at the top or we put it below 1-4? We'll put it, actually, we'll put it in S tier, actually. You know what, I decided. Because I'm thinking of the trials going forward and where they would go. I think this deserves to be an S tier trial. Yeah. But let's actually talk about it, shall we? Instead of just immediately putting it in S tier without looking at it. So, here we have something interesting going on. So Misty Faye's back. Remember her from the first game? How she showed up in an image? She's here. And she's actually the same person as Elise Stoneham. Like, these are the same person. They kind of look the same, not really. But Elise Stoneham has been killed. And our... Oh, hey, look, an actual bot. Dang. Goodbye. How do I do this? It's been a while. Yeah, you were created 15 hours ago, bud. Get out. Now. Okay, how do we want to talk about this? There's a lot happening here. So Sister Iris is... Okay, no, let's start with this. Gatto, as we now know, is Diego, right? And Gatto has been very openly hostile towards Phoenix since the beginning. Not hostile in the same way Franziska is, but he makes it very clear that he hates Phoenix, and he's only here as a prosecutor to beat him. Not for, like, his honor or anything. And because of that, he is actually involved in this case. So what ends up happening is Phoenix and Maya and Pearl go to a temple. They meet Elise Stoneham, Bikini, and Iris. And then the incident occurs. Stoneham is found dead in the yard. Iris is accused, I believe. Bikini calls the cops. And then Wright runs to get Maya from across the bridge, and he falls in the water. Which is why we get... For the first day of trial, we play as Edgeworth. Which is fantastic. We love Edgeworth, right? And playing as him is even better. And we go against Franziska, which is one of the moments I actually like Franziska, because we get to see Franziska and Edgeworth's rivalry, which is not something that shows up often. I hope it shows up more in the investigation games when I play those. And then the second day going forward, Phoenix is recovered enough from falling off the bridge to actually go against Gatto. But why was Gatto not there, you might be wondering? It was because Gatto was there on the other side of the bridge already, because he is the one who committed the murder. Not because not because of malicious intent, mind you, but because he was trying to save Maya, because this whole thing was orchestrated by Morgan. Remember her from the second game? Yeah, she's back now. And this whole thing is just fantastic. We love it. We even get a bit of resolution for young Phoenix being tricked by Dahlia, because as it turns out, Dahlia was not actually the one dating him. It was actually Iris. Well, the two of them were swapping out, but anytime they were on a date, Iris was the one there, because she genuinely enjoyed Nick. So overall, it is a fantastic trial. What does this button do? Oh yeah, we can have that music on. Yeah, we love this trial. It's fantastic. Now, and you know what? with that, that's the end of the game. We gotta rank it. Trials and Tribulations, my boy, you're going right up into S tier. You are the best of the original trilogy. By far, not by far, but compared to Justice for All, by far. Original Phoenix Wright, pretty close. The DS version, that is. The GBA version, definitely worse. But we now get to move on to what I consider one of my favorite games. Might just be recency bias because I played it, last year on stream for you guys. But even then, I mean, it's not like that was my first time going through it. I had played like half of it on the DS back then. Oh, and here we are. Here we are. This first case is the best first case in the series, I think. I don't think there's any one that's better. So Payne's back. He doesn't matter much. He has this fantastic hair, though, and I love that for him. We have Apollo. We love Apollo. One of the easiest ones to voice, even if he does destroy my throat. We have Old Phoenix. This is where Phoenix officially transitions from, like, happy rookie to seasoned veteran. And to be fair, he did already start... He started to adopt that in the end of the previous game, but here it's in full force, and we love that for him. We also get Trucy Wright. Fantastic. We love her. Even if I wasn't that great at voicing her, especially in the second trial of this game, I remember that distinctly. And we get Olga Orly here, who, as I recall, I think I put something behind here. Yeah, there we go. There's the real her. Because as it would turn out, Olga and Kristoff were not Olga and Kristoff. Olga and Shady Smith were conspiring to cheat against Phoenix Wright in a game of poker. And upon losing, Smith assaulted Orly and then was killed by Gavin after Wright left. And I gotta say, looking at this retrospectively from the perspective of someone who's just beat the game, doesn't make a lot of sense. Why did Smith, with what we know in the future trials, attack Orly? I really don't know. If anyone has something to say about that, I'd love you if you could tell me, because I have no clue. Because in the later trials, it's revealed that Smith plays poker with people, or plays cards with people, not necessarily poker, because it reveals who they truly are, right? And he has played with Wright before, and he has lost to Wright before. And yet, and he liked Wright because of that. He really did. Whoa, Larry, I'm sorry. I kept you up for too long. Please go. But yeah, so, and then he comes here, and he loses to Wright, right? He goes in attempting to cheat, which is fine, right? It's only cheating if you get caught. But he does get caught cheating, and Wright plays it off. And then Smith attacks Orly. I don't understand that, to be honest. But I can't just talk about this over and over, can I? Not really. So, yeah. Yeah, Kristoff, fantastic villain. We love him. Apollo, fantastic protagonist. Winston, fantastic hair. Orla is okay. Trucy is, in this chapter, I actually think she did good. I think this is the chapter where she abducts herself mid... Isn't it? I think so. Where Mr. Hat makes his first appearance. And then Smith, confusing, but that's fine. So, you know what? This chapter gets to go right up in A tier, I say. First chapter to get that high. It does go at the bottom, I'd say. But it's pretty good. And you know what? We need to swap 1-1 and 1-2 around. Yeah, there we go. I have not been paying much attention to how I've been sorting these. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, nothing else needs to be changed. Now, what do we got next? This trial. I think this trial took me forever because this is where I got sick while doing the streams. Let's change the music. I've been listening to it for too long. Trust me, it gets on my nerves before it gets on your guys' nerves. I just don't talk about it. No, not that one. That's... Here we are. So... Oh, actually, you know what am I talking about? Emma's back. Let's put Emma's song on. There we go. So, Emma's back. Like I said. She is very different now. Probably because you are not Mr. Wright. You're Apollo. And also because she is very frustrated with herself. And she also hates Gavin. She does. And I kind of get it. But I mean, Gavin as a prosecutor, I like him, yeah, but he's very inoffensive, shall I say? He is on the side of justice. He is on your side. He makes fun of you and Emma, kind of, and he's, you know, very confident, not arrogant really, just confident. But the whole thing is that he's very inoffensive, and coming off of the hyper aggression of Franziska and the coolness, I guess, of Gatto, it's a bit weird to see, to have your first laid back prosecutor. Because even Edgeworth, even though he is pretty chill, as they would say, even he actually basically almost, or most likely, forged evidence in your first trial against him. And was, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the dynamic between Apollo and Gavin here, but I do think he's one of the weaker prosecutors. But as for this actual trial, well, Wesley Stickler sucks, right? He does. I don't think he has any redeeming quality. Guy Eldoon is admittedly an interesting character with connections to Pal Maractus. This is a shame they don't, like, mention it in the future after Eldoon's sort of gotten past all of this. The Kitaki family, I love the Kitaki family. And, you know, I'm gonna make a weird connection here. I think Alita should have just, you know, been upfront with them. This is like an Addams Family Values situation, where she got into a dangerous family, and she was a perfect fit, and then she threw it all away. Like, I know that she doesn't like Walkie. Yeah, I get that. But that definitely could have been part of their dynamic. I feel like Walkie is the type of person who would have kept her around even if she didn't like him. Like, if she openly did not like him. Also, I've been ignoring him this whole time, but considering I'm pretty sure this is his final appearance, or second final appearance, Hickfield, also known as Dr. Hottie, is the worst. He just is. I don't need to talk about it. If you've talked to him, you know what I mean. But overall, I think this is a very good trial. Lots of conflicting interests, lots of moving parts. They don't tell you who did the deed. It's just really solid all the way through. So, and because we're getting into these more recent games that we just played, we're not actually going to be talking too much about them. So we'll probably start going through these quicker. But let's see, 4-2, I think that's an A tier as well. In fact, I think I can put it right above. I think not 4-1. Because it's really good, even if it doesn't connect to the bigger plot much. Now, let's see. Here we are. Turnabout Serenade. Hey, look, there's Crescent. We just talked about him. Emma, stop your music. That gets annoying really quickly whenever it has a fade out at the end. Never realized that. Let's see, who do we want next? Yeah, we can have objection on for a bit. So, this is good. It feels like this is where Clavier peaks, really. Because he is involved in this case, right? He's pretty deeply involved in it. So, this whole thing is Machi and Darian conspiring to smuggle medicine from their country, Borginia, I believe, into Japan, America. And then Latouche catches them and gets killed, right? Now, as simple as that is, it's presented in a very interesting way. Because Machi claims to be blind, Lemira claims to not speak... Wait, no. She does speak. Machi's the one that can't speak. Or speak the language of the country. Oh no, Lemira claims not to be able to speak the language either. And Darian plans to betray Machi, and there's this whole thing. I love it. Also, this is the introduction of Valent, Valen was my favorite character to voice in this entire game. We loved Valen. And although he doesn't get to shine much in this chapter, simply introducing him is good. Because he shows up a lot more in the next one. Now hold on. Yeah. You know, I really should have made it so these songs loop properly, shouldn't I? Yeah, back to initial investigation. But yeah, this is all in all, very good chapter. It is one that you are not going to figure out while you're going through it. Like, you can figure out who did what, based off like character designs and stuff, but you're not going to figure out how it happened. I think the easiest thing for you to guess is that Machi is not blind, and that Lemira is. But everything else, you're going to have to actually, you know, work for your answer. No shots in the dark here. So 4-3, I think we'll put it at the top of B tier, probably. No, we can put it in A tier as well. I think this whole game is A tier. I really love it. In fact, I think it goes above 4-2. This is a crazy bias towards this game, huh? And you know how biased it is? We're going to take 4-4, and we're going to put it right at the top right now, before we even look at it. There we go. Let's go look at 4-4. Where do I have it? Here we are. 4-4. This is the best. It is my favorite trial in the entire series. I think someone even came in and commented on how it was their favorite trial as well. Oh, and I'm not going to sit here and walk you through the entire thing. I'm not going to. I want you to play it yourself. I know I have spoilers on screen, but it doesn't matter if you know what's happening, because these two trials, which are actually one trial, are the best. And it's also the most frustrating one. Not because it itself is bad, but because of the way they decided to treat it going forward. Let's do a brief overview. So we have two cases. We have this case right here in the past. See, we actually have the young sprites here, where Magnifi is, why is Drew dead back here? I don't know. Well, the point is, Magnifi kills himself. And who was it? I believe it was Valent who frames Zack for the murder, or for the suicide. And it's all in all an extraordinarily interesting situation brought about by an extraordinarily mysterious man, that being Magnifi. And that really fits with the whole, you know, the whole magician thing he has going on, Troop Leader. And it's fantastic. We love it. And this is also how Phoenix lost his attorney's badge, because he used false evidence given to him by Trucy, which was given to her by Kristoff, who then told Clavier about the fake evidence, you know? But like I said, I'm not going to walk you through this whole thing. It's just that this is the culmination of everything in this game so far, right? Phoenix steals the show. He absolutely steals it. So does Trucy, kind of. And, you know, it kind of sucks for Apollo, right? He gets to take he's obviously at the driver's seat, but he's not the star of the show here. And also this is the first appearance of, like, the Cyclops, not the Black Cyclops, but the Black Cyclops. And overall, it's just, it's so good, and I don't want to talk about it. I really don't want to talk about it. I just want people to play it for themselves or watch it for themselves. Either way. It's so good. And this is where I want to talk about two things that do frustrate me about this game. The first is Apollo's power. See, Phoenix has his Cyclops that he uses to find out if someone is lying to him. It just tells him if they're lying, and then he reasons his way through it. But also, Phoenix is just an observant guy. Like, that's one of his things in this game, is that he's observant, which is why he can win in cards. You know, he also gets Trucy's help. That doesn't matter as much. Because the thing is, like, you look in the first game, he does actually pull out the classic tricks. Whenever Edgeworth is accused of murder, you know it's not him from the fingerprints, because you, the player, and if sometimes, as well as Phoenix Wright always, knows that Edgeworth is left-handed. And whenever Larry lies to you, you know he's lying because you can see his eye twitch. In this game, Apollo has the power to see people's physical tells, but it's a magical thing, and I don't really like that. Especially because this man right here, this man, Spark Brushel, I hate his tell. He's a fine character, don't get me wrong, bit annoying, but he's supposed to be, but his tell was sweating armpits. It's very upsetting. It is extraordinarily upsetting. And I will never forgive that. It was horrible. But even worse is here's the thing. The way you win this trial is by utilizing the jury system. Basically, Christoph Gavin has pulled off the perfect crime. He cannot be caught. Right? Because he has not left behind a single piece of decisive evidence that points to him. And the way you catch him is by luring him into this trial, which utilizes a jury without telling him. And the jury, it's supposed to be this big thing that Phoenix has been working on for all these years. It's the end. It's like the big thing in this game. You're supposed to be proving that it works better than the current system. And it's never brought up again. Not a single time. I was waiting for it. Throughout the entirety of Dual Destinies, throughout the entirety of Spirit of Justice. Well, I gave up by the time Spirit of Justice came around. But I was waiting for it to come up. It never did. It was very unfortunate. But, you know what? I just have to move on at this point. So let's go over here and go ahead and take our Apollo Justice, stick it up there in the A S tier. It goes to the top. It's better than Trials and Tribulations in my opinion. I like it a lot. Now we need to start Dual Destinies, and oh boy, Dual Destinies. First of all, HD sprites. Isn't that wonderful? I'm using HD sprites now instead of DS and Game Boy sprites. Except for the judge, he gets to say with his Game Boy sprite. Oh, man. This first trial, it's not great. It's not great. Well, it actually is. It's a very interesting first trial. It's in media res. Well, the trial's not, but you are in media res in the story. Basically, there was another trial happening, and during the middle of that trial, a bomb went off, and Juniper Woods has been accused of it, right? Especially because during the bombing, Detective Candace Arm was killed. Now, you do not know what this previous trial was. In fact, you do not know until nearly the end of the game. But Apollo's been taken out, and now we get to play as Athena, and oh, Athena. How unfortunate can a character be? I pity Athena. Because she's not a bad character. Not really. She definitely has her flaws. But, man, you come off of Apollo Justice's game, which is named after Apollo Justice, that sets up Phoenix Wright and Trucy Wright to be super fantastic characters going forward. You set up Apollo Justice to develop into a fantastic character because he has a fantastic base established. And we get into this game, we're like, okay, we're going to get these three, and they're going to become awesome. We have the seasoned veteran, we have the really, really fantastic assistant, and we have this, we have Apollo, a rookie who lacks confidence, with almost nothing known about his backstory, except for his relationship with Trucy, which has been kept secret by Wright and Lemira. How are we going to develop this? We're not. That's what they did. They decided to add Athena into the game, and I can't blame Athena for it, right? I don't want to look down on her character and her contributions because of her placement in the series, but it's hard sometimes because Apollo Like, even, look at this. See this picture? Apollo has an eye patch, and he has a coat. Now, that hints as to what was happening in the previous chapter, kind of. But it makes you think, like, it makes it seem like Apollo's going to get a lot of development here. He doesn't. He doesn't. Which I, like... And that, combined with the fact that they completely dropped the jury, really made me have a terrible first impression of this trial. Made even worse by Gaspin Payne existing, because he is the worst prosecutor in the entire series by far. It will never change. I don't think it's possible for it to change, actually. He just treats everyone horribly, especially Athena. This is not a good first chapter. It's not. I mean, if I look at it objectively, maybe it would be better, higher, but I refuse. You're going right down to the D tier, bud. Because I was so upset by coming off of the previous game and getting this. Because it really is upsetting. Yeah. It is like that sometimes, isn't it? Let me see if I can line these up a little bit. Oh, come on. You know, that's lined up as we can get. Let's move on to 1, 2, or not 1, 2, but the next one. What's next? Please remind me. Oh, come on. Man, this game really does not have all that great. So it's nice to have a chapter in every game that's not really related to anything. That's just, you know, to develop the characters and their dynamics. This doesn't do that, really. Oh, it kind of does. So this is a flashback. We're going back before everything happened. But not to that previous trial. We're going to before that previous trial. In fact, we're going to before that previous trial. To Athena's first trial, where she is not in control. We're actually playing as Apollo. Yeah. In Athena's game, we've now playing as Apollo, which you would think would be fine if it was not for the fact that this is definitely not an Apollo chapter. Apollo has no relationship to anyone in this chapter. Athena does. Athena knows Jinxie. And Athena knows Simon. Or actually, no. Does Athena know Jinxie? I think it's Trucy that knows Jinxie. The point is, Apollo has taken away Athena's control of the story for literally no reason. Apollo does not develop here at all. He just keeps being Apollo. Now, as for this actual trial, if we actually look at it, first of all, we have Simon Blackwell. He grew on me, I must admit. Back when I first was playing these games, and even after I finished Spirit of Justice, I wasn't too big of a fan of him, right? Because he was so extremely direct in his hostility, it sort of reminded me of Franziska. But looking back on them in that time I've had between now and then, I have actually grown to like him a lot more. Because he actually does have class. He actually has an interesting backstory that is explored. And his manner of speech and actually doing his voice is something that I actually always liked, right? I think I said that on multiple occasions, but not as much as I should have. I loved voicing him. It's a bit difficult now that my throat's no longer sore. But you know, he's fun. Other characters that were introduced. Bobby Fulbright, our new detective. We're not going to talk about him yet. We're not going to talk about him yet because it's spoilers to talk about him. But he's good. We like Bobby. Right now, in this chapter, just knowing what we know, we like Bobby. He's very fun to voice. Very similar to Valen, actually, is what I give him. He has a good dynamic with Blackwell, even if they don't interact all that often. And he's just all around good. The other characters in this chapter, I could not care less. They all kind of suck. And by suck, I mean they're boring. Or they're actually bad. Like Florent Labelle. Florent Labelle is probably one of the worst killers in the series. He is revealed in a cutscene immediately to be the killer. Which they did with Ted Tonate as well, by the way. But Ted Tonate, it's fine. It's the first chapter. It's excusable. This is the second chapter. And he already looks like a villain. You do not have to expose him further. Yeah, no, he just sort of sucks. Damien and Jinxie Tenma, they're okay. Rex QB is dead, and we never learn anything about him. Other than assuming that he is the amazing Ninetales, which he is not. That was actually the twist, is that Damien is actually the Ninetales. And Filch. I mean, what does he do? He watches TV. He lies. He's a Tanuki. Not much going on there. All in all, I think this is a very C-tier chapter. Yeah, C-tier feels nice for this. I think it goes above 1-1, though. Yeah, it definitely goes above 1-1. Not above 1-2, though. 1-2 gets a pass on revealing its culprit immediately, because it's the second chapter of the entire series. Which this is not. I tried to straighten it again. It didn't really work. It's fine. What's the next one? I hope it's a good one. That is way too far. Oops. Oh, it is a good one. It's the school. This one is good. First of all, I need to say right now, I did not realize that Miriam Scuttlebutt was a Metal Gear reference until the end of the chapter. I'm disappointed in myself. I love Metal Gear, and I did not realize that it was a reference until the end of the chapter. Also, there was no mugshot of Miriam Scuttlebutt outside of her box, so this is what we get. Gavin shows up in this chapter. That's another thing that happens. He doesn't do much of anything, really. Same with Wright. The two of them just sort of exist. Same with Trucy, I guess. That's why they're off to the side. They don't do anything. The real interesting bit of this chapter comes from Juniper, Robin, and Hugh. It opens up with a bit of a fake out, saying that they're in a love triangle. They're not, right? Robin, here, if I click on her, and I go ahead and send her to the back. That is not what I intended. Huh. What's happened here? I thought I had something, didn't I? Huh. Well, okay, well, I thought I had a second... I thought I had her second sprite, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, so Robin's actually a girl, and Hugh is actually an adult who's been held back. So yeah, that whole love triangle thing, total fake out, which I'm glad about, right? I mean, it gave us a little bit of time to sort of goof off, but I would not have been happy if that was actually what the trial was about. The actual trial is about corruption. I believe this is the first trial where the dark age of the law becomes a significant thing, which I think is stupid, because the jury system should have solved it. It did not. And I think I was talking about that this entire chapter, and I don't doubt it, because I am still talking about it now. But the gist of the situation is that Aristotle Means was accepting bribes. Constance Court caught him, so he killed her, and then framed Juniper. Not exactly a... I mean, it's a good plan, don't get me wrong. Just feels a bit boring, and I hate the Dark Age of the Law narrative that they were going with. It just makes me sad that they didn't carry on anything from the previous game. Yeah, okay, you know what, I don't want to talk about this. It just makes me sad. This goes in C tier. It goes at the bottom of C tier. Actually, 1-1 can go below it. It makes me sad. C is becoming the sad tier at this point. And I think that, but don't worry, I think the next two chapters do start to pick up. Oh, yes they do. The Cosmic Turnabout. Now this is a good one. It's actually multiple things. I believe... So this is the one... This is the... how do I say this? I'm starting to fall apart. I'm talking to myself for like 2 hours at this point. No, not that one. Here we are. So, Starbuck and Apollo and Clay. We're getting into Apollo's backstory. Very nice. Not his real backstory, though. The writers don't know about that one yet, so they can't write about it. But what do we need to know? Well, we actually have multiple days of trial, which is why we have all 3 people on the stand. I don't believe Athena is in control of any of them, despite this being her game. Apollo already has the eye bandage, which is something that should be noted, because he does not say why. The actual reason, which is revealed, is that he is using it to stop himself from noticing that Athena is lying. Which, it's fine, considering what we come to learn. But, I don't know. It's not exactly something that I like Apollo doing. I know that he still views himself as a rookie due to self-confidence issues, but he should be more grown up than that by now. Especially considering Athena is 18, much younger than him. But anyway, this trial's a good one. Like I said, we get into Apollo's backstory, which is nice. It's what I wanted out of this game in the first place. We get some good people. Arm never actually takes a stand. Cosmos does. Actually, I think Cosmos and Fulbright are the only 2 that take the stand during this chapter. Because right at the halfway point, the explosion happens. And when we come back, it's decided that Athena is actually... It's decided that Solomon is innocent, and Athena is the culprit. Which brings us into the second trial, which is why this one's so short. And you know, we can just go ahead and rank this one right now, because of how short it is. This is a bridge chapter. It is very similar to 3-3, I believe. Where did I put 3-3 at? No, not 3-3, 3-4, 3-4. Which I put up here in A. We can put 5-4 in B tier. Yeah. You can go right into B tier. I think because it ends with the plot twist that Athena is the assumed killer, we can put it higher than Steel Samurai. But let's actually talk about the next one, because that's the interesting one. Turnabout for tomorrow. Now, I didn't even attempt to organize this one, because there's so many people. Like, Pearl, of all people, makes a cameo here. I don't think she does anything important, though, does she? I would have that in my notes if she did. Pearl is just here to talk about the Black Cyclops. Because Athena has the Black Cyclops. Yes, I remember that. First of all, Wright versus Edgeworth. We love that. We love it. I love it, at least. And, we're going back to that thing we did in the previous games, where we're solving a future crime and a past and a current, not future crime, past crime and a current crime at the same time. Because we need to solve the murder of Clay Terran, okay? And we know that the victim, not the victim, but the culprit of Clay Terran's murder is also the murder, the culprit of the murder of Meta Sykes, who is Athena's mother. And this is where we learn Athena's backstory, because we already have most of Apollo's backstory, or at least all of Apollo's backstory that exists at this time. And Athena's backstory is really nice. It's short, though. Not expanded upon much. We don't learn much about Metis. We don't learn much about Aura. We don't learn about Widget, or Simon's involvement in any of that. It could have been more if this game had actually spent the time to develop Athena more, instead of putting Apollo in when he didn't need to be. Which really makes it suffer. But it is a good trial. It takes place in a destroyed courtroom. Apollo has the moment where he takes the bandage off. Bobby is the culprit, and he is a spy. And he gets assassinated in the courtroom. Overall, Aura also takes Trucy hostage in order to get the trial to happen. It's a crazy trial. It's 1 day long, and all these things happen. And I really like it. I really, really like it. So we're gonna just go ahead and rank it right now. I know that I talked about it barely at all, but it can go in A tier. In fact, I think it's gonna go. It's gonna go above 2-2. Man, I'm gonna run out of space in the A tier at this rate. I didn't expect to have this many up there. go above tier 2. Just below the other two final chapters. Should I lower some of these in A tier? I don't think I mean, maybe. No, I like it too much. Let's talk about the DLC chapter. That'll be a short and quick one, right? Here we are. So, first of all, there are 2 orcas, right? That's the whole thing. But, man, what's up with this chapter, huh? Apollo, what does Apollo even do here? I don't remember if Apollo does anything here. I think he's just being Trucy's assistant the whole time. Yeah, that's probably it. And Pearl is just kind of having a crush on Marlon Rhymes. I don't want to talk about this. It's not good. It's not. Okay, you know what? I'll talk about it, okay? I know I don't want to, but I'm going to. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about all of them. I can't be giving you up now. So, okay, so first of all, we can tell it's a DLC chapter because it has multiple animated voiced cutscenes, okay? And it is actually an interesting chapter. Don't get me wrong. It's very interesting. I like it. It's just not especially... Like, I don't want to, like, this is not the sort of thing I'd ever replay. If I replayed this game, I would leave out this chapter. It doesn't fit in the narrative, which, anywhere, really. It just sort of happens at some point. It feels weird playing it after everything has already happened, because we had to go back before Simon and Athena have worked their things out. It happened, we had to go back before Bobby got shot. It's, I mean, Marlon isn't even evil, really. He didn't try to kill Jack, and he didn't kill Azura. Azura just had a heart attack, basically. Yeah, no, it's not great, I guess. I think my main issue with it, even though I know it's good, like just looking at it from a more objective standpoint, is that it's a DLC chapter. And when I think DLC chapter, when I went into this knowing it's a DLC chapter, I thought, oh, it's going to be like 1.5. It's going to be like Rise from the Ashes. But it's not. It's just there. It's just a bonus chapter with nothing special about it other than the increased production value. So 5 DLC, you can go right down to the C tier, bottom C tier. I would not pay for you. I did not pay for you. I mean, I guess I paid for the whole collection, but I did not buy you on the DS, and I do not regret it. And now for the final game. Final game. This game, Spirit of... Oh, wait. We had to rank the game. Right. Forgot about that. Dual Destinies, I'm sorry. You go in C tier. You're not that great. You go below Justice for All. Because you took away all the potential to develop Apollo and Trucy and Phoenix. And gave it to Athena and Black Quill. And although they are good on their own, the fact that you took the potential away from others does not justify you existing. And also, also I didn't mention it, but the gimmick of having 3D environments to inspect, I don't like it, really. I mean, it's not that I dislike it, mind you. It's just that compared to having 3D evidence, I think it's a lot less interesting. Now, this final game, it's really darn good. It's really, really good. And I really do wish I had the third game music to be playing during this, because guess what? The third game doesn't play its music. It hates doing that. I think Dual Destinies did that a little bit too, but they have a lot of times where it's just like this. Silence. They have a good soundtrack, and they don't use it. They just, I don't know why. So, but yeah, no, not that. I'm trying to decide what music to play. Now I've just trash talked this game's use of its music. You know, let's go with Marshall's. We don't use it much. So, this first trial is fantastic. Putting aside the fact that they don't utilize their music properly, this first trial is fantastic. It's 1 day with... Was there even an investigation for this? Let me think. Nope, it's 1 day, no investigation, and it's fantastic. The only way you could have made it better was if you got rid of Gasp and Pain. And to be fair, here Gasp and Pain isn't as bad. That's probably because it's hard, instead of being disrespectful to you, he's just trying to kill you, which, you know, is sort of pathetic. But overall, this is fantastic. Every single thing you see here on screen, except for Gasp and Pain, is good. And Gasp and Pain's not supposed to be good. Pot Roll, good victim. Ollie Urguide, good defendant. I'm not so much as a good recurring character, but we're not judging him on that yet. Peace, Love, and Understanding, although he actually is good, right? If I could go back, I would put a lot more effort into his lines than I did when I was sick and voicing him, because him singing everything is very funny to me. Rayfa, I love Rayfa. I think Rayfa has the best character design in this entire game, maybe in the entire series. There are a few others that give her a run for her money, but her little smug look is the best. She has the best smug look in the game. Larry, what do you think about this? It's been a while. Let me get you out here. Don't be weird. Okay, well, he was weird about it, I guess. You know, I will say, though, when I was deciding to bring out Larry as this little puppet thing that I occasionally have, I looked through all his sprites, and I was surprised to find out he doesn't have a Heart Eye sprite, despite his whole thing being bad with women. But yeah, Larry, you can go away now. I want to talk about the game again. Even if I'm starting to, like, drop in quality. So, let's see. Yeah, Nina shows up for the first time, she's not too important. Shadow shows up, he's not too important. Inga shows up, I like Inga. Like, first impressions, I like him. I know he's the bad guy, just by looking at him. He looks like he's turning this place to a banana republic, which he probably is. And he's fantastic. Yeah, so just everything here is good. And the Kurain Judge. Oh, we love Kurain Judge. He is the best judge. He's better than regular judge, he's better than young judge, because he is extraordinary. Like, even though at the beginning, he just sort of goes along with Gasp and Pain's requests, he does very quickly start remembering what he's supposed to do, and he just, even before he's fully remembered everything, he displays the fact that he still has a sense of justice. He lets you carry on once you've actually got the ball rolling. He makes Rayfa and Assad and Nayuta, and even Garen, just sit down and shut up whenever you have a good point. He is the best. He is my favorite. Not favorite he might be my favorite character, actually. Yeah, you know what? Kurain Judge, I'm going to copy paste you into the S tier. There you go. You can go right up there, my boy. Now, as for this actual chapter, I think this goes in A tier. A tier's getting crowded. We need to do something about that. Do I expand it? Or do I just move something down? We can put this one in B tier. It's not as good as I was making it out to be fair. So let's see, there you go. Slide on over, bud. Now you get to go above 2. Why is 2-2 up there? Did I mean to put 2-2 up there? I definitely did not mean to put 2-2 up there. Yeah, 2-2 can come down as well. I think 2-2 goes right here. There we go. And 6-1 can go right here. It's a better chapter than 4-1. That's for sure. Even if they're both fantastic first chapters. Now, let's see, who do we have next? Oh, I remember. Yeah, the magic chapter. Now, this was an interesting one going into it the first time. I thought they were going to use this to genuinely develop Apollo and Trucy, right? Because it relates to troop grammary. It also shows our first instance of Nayuta Saimari. And even though it does not develop Apollo or Trucy in the way I wanted it to going forward, and it just turned out to be a one-off thing, I still like this trial. Okay, we bring back Emma, right? We have Mr. Reyes, who's fantastic. We have Nayuta, who kind of sucks, but I guess that's kind of his point. Apollo and Trucy do have important roles here. Athena, I mean, she's Athena. She doesn't do much. And Bonnie and Betty DeFam are fantastic. And we also get to see Phoenix genuinely caring for Trucy as a father when he's not in, like, hobo mode. So there's not much to talk about here. Because it's, like, it's one day, right? A super short one-day unrelated trial. But it's good. It goes right in the beat here. In fact, I'd say this is better than Steel Samurai. Steel Samurai is not bad, mind you. It's a good chapter. Yeah, this goes above Steel Samurai. There we are. Now, this next chapter is even better, right? Because we actually get back to Kurain, which is where this game really shines. And I've been playing Jake Marshall's theme listen so long that it became background noise. I am so sorry. Here, take, I don't know. Yeah, we can do this. So first of all, I better have a thing for Anonymous. Do I? I do. Anonymous, first of all, he's actually Dat's Arball, and I am so sorry, because I called him Dat's Arball for the entire game without realizing the pun. His name is Dat's a Rebel. And I didn't get it. I didn't get it. It took me... I did not get it until someone else told me after I completed the game. And I'm sorry. Moving on, I'm going to keep calling him Dat's Arball, just because. But anyway, this chapter... This one's going in A tier, at least. It might go in S tier, because this is a really good chapter. First of all, Maya's back. That's nice. Kurain Judge is back. That's nice. Now you're just here on home turf against Phoenix, which is actually a really interesting matchup, especially considering it's their first time meeting each other. And although I don't like Nayuta, I do like this chapter. Now, Rafa and Emma are good, right? We like them. Emma is devolved back into her snacky eating habits as due to stress. And, you know, hold on, we have Emma's song in here, don't we? Yeah, there we are. And the actual situation is a tragedy. Something that does not happen often in Phoenix Wright. Like, this is a genuine tragedy. Brought about by the characters. But not the characters, like, who are in the trial, but, like, it's brought about by Garin and Inga. And we get to see, and more importantly, Rafa gets to see firsthand how horrible the, what's it called? The Defense Culpability Act? Yeah, the DCA. Rafa gets to see firsthand how horrible the DCA is for the people. Because Tarust okay, so there's a state-sponsored murder from Real Namu, also known as Pere Zealot, right? That's already bad enough. But the fact that Tarust's only hope of saving his wife, his pregnant wife, was to kill himself, really, really is great. I love this moment. I didn't react much because I'm not a very emotional person. But I love this one. Favorite trial, probably in the game if it wasn't for the last trial. The last trial is pretty darn good as well. Actually, I think I might like this one more than the last trial. So let's go ahead and stick it right up, and you know, we can put an S tier. Yeah, this deserves it. Now, you see, you might have noticed here, I have this little tier down here called Clown Trial. And I didn't call it the 2-3 tier. I called it the Clown Trial because guess what? We've got another one. That's right, we've got another Clown Trial. And we're going to listen to the Blue Badger for the entire time talking about it. In fact, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and preemptively stick it in the Clown Trial tier, huh? Because it deserves to go in the Clown Trial tier. It does not go anywhere else. Yep, there we go. So, what is happening here? What convinced the developer said this was a good idea. Also, I realize I've made a mistake. Let me fix that. Simon Blackquill, I put him on the wrong side because I wanted him to be there. He is not there. And it makes me sad that he's not there. Because Nayuta is there. But man, this is terrible. Okay, let's talk about all these the new characters individually. Bucky Wet is horrid. He is drunk or unconscious the entire chapter. Taifu Tornado is despicable. He is the sole reason all of this happened. Because he's a terrible person. He stole the deed to Bucky Wet's shop, the Wet Soba, or Wet Noodle, unrelated to the Wet Noodle from the first game. Which is not how deeds work, by the way. Like, I talked about that in the stream where we did this chapter. That's not how deeds work. That's not how they work. It's just him being mean. Even if he says it was because he was just trying to toughen up Bucky. It's just mean and bad and illegal. He told Geiru, who wanted to be a Rakugo artist, in order to follow in her father's footsteps, to dress up like a clown and do balloon art for years. Because he didn't want her to follow in her father's footsteps just because he was her father. That is terrible. That is terrible. He literally turned her into a clown. And he deserved to get killed by her. And this last one, Uendo's actually interesting. I like Uendo. He is a rare instance of cooperative dissociative identity disorder. And it's also basically a superpower because the three who are lined up, Kisagawa, Patches, and Uendo, have shared memories and are all constantly conscious. Owen's the only one who left out because he only shows up when drunk or unconscious, I guess. And I like Uendo. I didn't do a great voicing him, admittedly. I was a bit intimidated by having to do a Rakugo artist, someone who's known for being good at voices. But, I like him. He's the one good part of this trial. Well, no, Simon. Simon's good. See, here's the thing. Simon, one of the reasons I didn't initially like him, is that he's a passive charisma aura, is what I describe it as. Mia kind of had one as well, but she's well-respected by her peers and everyone, so it makes sense. Blackquill just sort of waves his hand and everyone goes with what he says, instead of displaying actual psychological skills, other than with the judge and Athena, which is not very impressive. But here, I actually like what he does. Nayuta constantly turns the audience and the judge against you. He constantly uses ad hominem. He just sucks. And Blackquill is the perfect counter because he actually knows how to counter. Actually knows how to not fall apart when that happens and actually turn the audience back against Nayuta. I have a similar qualm with Athena because she's supposed to be a psychology expert, but she doesn't display that ever because we needed another rookie character, I guess. But, we won't talk about that too much. We can talk about... I can rant about that in future games, probably. But yeah, all in all, terrible chapter. Terrible placement, more importantly. This is the penultimate chapter of the game. And then they made it a clown trial. And in a vague attempt to make Athena and Simon more developed. And it doesn't work. It doesn't. So let's turn off that Blue Badger sound. And let's see, what do we want to get? Yeah, we can get that one. So, Tournament Revolution is our final chapter of the game. It's not DLC. It's a two-parter. So, first one, here we have the second trial in the entire series that's not a murder. The first one was with the urn being stolen by Mask the Mask. This one is about the orb. The Founder's Orb, also known as the Crystal of Ami Faye, according to Paul Addison Wimperson, whose name pun I also did not get. He's not Paul Addison, he's Politician. Yeah, I know. But anyway, this is great. We love this. Army and / Sergeant Buff is a fantastic character. We love her, even though she barely shows up. Archie is very interesting, but I wish we learned more about him. But he falls victim to the "we don't talk about the victims much" thing. Paul Addison Wimperson is okay. I mean, when I say he's okay, I mean that he's really good. He just does not align with my personal tastes. Apollo and Phoenix getting to face off is nice. We like that. And the other characters all just sort of exist. So Pearl cameos, and she talks about seeing Archie go to the mountain, and that's it. Miles also shows up briefly, but he doesn't do anything either, I don't think. But one thing I really do think is interesting is Dirk and Apollo's little cave adventure. We like the Dirk and Apollo cave adventure. We get a whole CG out of it, and it even foreshadows Dirk being dead. That's something I caught. I didn't connect it to him being dead. I just connected to him being supernatural somehow, because he has dark vision, and he can see footprints, even though he has one eye. So yeah, I really like that. Really like all of this. And then we turn around, go back to Kurain with the orb, and we have the rest of the trial, where we're going against Garin. I think I actually, for this one, I think I actually did include her second sprite. Yeah, there it is. And this whole thing is fantastic. Unfortunately, Miles takes a backseat. Unfortunate, but this is Apollo's moment to shine, right? This is really Apollo's game, even though Phoenix is the one who, just like in Apollo's game, steals the spotlight the whole time. Dirk, fantastic character. Loved him. Unfortunate that not unfortunate, but he did die. Did not see that coming, admittedly, because I was too wrapped up in the supernatural thing that I couldn't identify. Notably, this is where Nina is revealed to be Amara. So we can just go slide Nina up, stick Amara in the bottom. And this whole thing is fantastic. Also, it's funny. I find Inga's death very funny. So it's a big mess of spirit channeling, which is one of my favorite things they do that these games have, that you don't have in other games. So let me see if I can recall off of the top of my head what happened. Let's see. Inga kidnapped Maya during the previous chapter. No, before the previous chapter. So Dirk went to save her. Inga immediately shot Dirk, but Dirk shrugged it off, causing Inga to run. And then Dirk died, but not before telling Maya to channel him. So Maya channeled him, and he hid his body in the tomb, and then he went to the States to do the previous chapter, where Dirk pretended that he was alive, Inga called Right, and then Dirk picked up the phone, causing Inga to freak out. So Dirk went back for a prisoner exchange, because they were going to exchange, who was it? They're going to exchange the orb, I believe, for Amara, who was at the time dressed up as Nina? Yeah, that was it. But on the way, Garin figured it out. Yeah, that's right. What happened next? Garin went in, dressed as Dirk. Oh, I remember. Garin had Amara make an alibi for her. Then Garin went in and dressed as Dirk and killed Inga. Garin, then what happened next? Oh, what did happen next? I don't remember. Oh, right. Next, Garin leaves and has Amara come. Amara channels Inga in his room so that he runs to the treasure chamber. Amara stops channeling him. So, that was his whole after his post-death experience, just running. Oh, what happened next? Oh, right. Dirk, who was actually Maya, showed up, and Amara forced Dirk out of Maya's body, started channeling Dirk herself, and then they got caught, right. And then mid-trial, Dirk got taken out of Nina. Yeah. Basically, it's a whole mess, and I love it, because it's extraordinarily interesting. It's interesting that we get that Jove even though he has no character, is like the key to solving the whole thing because we can get his insight. I just love it. It's a fantastic final chapter, fantastic wrap up for the series. It can go up in S tier. It's gonna go. Where do we say it goes? I say it goes between 6.3 and 6.5. Yeah, that seems right to me. Man, this game is full of bangers, isn't it? And now the DLC, our final chapter, actual final chapter. Okay, let's see. Let's get Emma Song. This one's okay. I don't mind this one compared to the previous one. I think it's a lot better, mostly because Edgeworth is here. Ellen Wyatt is a good defendant. We like her, even though she's a bit stupid, because being a bit stupid is what makes this whole thing happen, because she believes time travel has occurred, and so does Larry. Larry apparently has been succeeding as a picture book artist, which is nice. I love that for him. But you know, it's just nice to have a classic Phoenix and Maya against Edgeworth trial right at the end as a nice little treat. Athena and Trucy spend the whole time goofing off. Apollo's not here because this occurs, canonically occurs after the previous chapter, which is nice. It's a nice improvement compared to the previous DLC that just happens at some point. And this whole mess with Soren and Selena and Gloomsbury and Nickety is really nice, right? All of this happens because of well, I guess it all happens kind of because of Soren, but Nickety's definitely the one at fault because he planned to commit the murder and stuff. And Nickety's actually just really evil. He planned not to commit, he didn't want to murder Soren, he wanted to murder Ellen. Which you could kind of justify because Nickety has been manipulating Soren's journal for who knows how long. But still, real evil guy. And I don't actually have much to say about this, because it's really just a straightforward, fun trial. Sort of just a nice way to remember everything that came before. So it goes right in the B tier, I'd say. Where in B tier? I don't know, probably bottom of B tier. I'd say so. You can't beat the actual, you know, Nick and Maya adventures. And because of this, Spirit of Justice is going to go right into A tier. I think it goes above. I think it goes above the original game. There we go. And look at that. We've made it all the way to the end. Isn't that nice? I think it is. This was a very long adventure. These 3 games that we played on stream, the Apollo Justice Trilogy, were only supposed to take like 3 months max. And here we are, a lot longer than I planned. Mostly because I got sick in the middle and stayed sick for almost the entire thing. But it was great fun. I love these games. I mean, look at this tier list. It's amazing how many good chapters they have. Even the C tier chapters are good. The only ones that are bad are, and in fact, hold on. Why is 5.1 below 3.3? You know what? We need to change that real quick. Why is 5.1 below 2.1? Did I make a mistake there? Geez, that's insane. Yeah, fix that real quick. Did I make any other stupid mistakes like that? I hope not. Don't want to get crucified by anyone who comes and sees the VOD. Yeah, no, this looks fine to me. But yeah, look at this. Look at how many good chapters we had. In fact, I would probably have more in, like using everything that isn't the clown chapter, and also 3.3, I think is good. I think all of them, except for these 3, are good. That's amazing. And I can't wait to, you know, move forward, play some of the other games with you all. Larry, get out here. I know you're crying. Thank you, Larry. But yeah, this has been fantastic. I still don't know if I'm going to play Investigations on stream, to be honest. Still thinking that we'll probably just go straight to Chronicles, and I'll do Investigations off stream. But hey, who knows? Could go. Well, it could go anyway, really. So, with that being said, do we have enough people? Or not people, is there enough people streaming for me to raid? Oh, there is, actually. Most are not speaking English. Hey, look, there's exactly one. Perfect. Well, with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. This has been Seek the Scuffed, and I am going to raid and sign off.